Well, West Tigers fans, our beloved Tigers, they went down to the Broncos last week, but it's another week. We're coming live to you from the Orange Grove Hotel to preview the game against the Knights as the boys go up the F3 to play Newcastle. Join us for another episode of the West Tigers Life podcast. Welcome into another episode of the West Tigers Life podcast. I am your host, Josh Barnett. Please give us a follow on the socials at West Tigers Life on Twitter, Instagram. The TikTok's fired up over 500. The Instagram's pushing towards 1,500. And our YouTube, give us a subscribe on the YouTube. So that's cracked 1,500 this week as well. We're trying to get them all to 2,005 in 25 to kind of match of course, West Tigers magic number of 2005. So please give us a follow if you haven't on all those social pipes and the YouTube. Shouts to all our regulars. Can see them already commenting away in the comments there on the YouTube stream. Let's go straight to my beloved co-host. Let's go to Statsman first. How are you this evening, Mr. Thompson?
Yeah, g'day Josh, g'day Rob, g'day everyone watching and listening from wherever you are. I'm all right. I've had a little bit of a dodgy day. Got some mail earlier this afternoon that kind of ticked me off, but I know, still trying to recover from what was a really tough performance on Saturday night and hoping for something better this week.
Yeah, it's a big day for the Campbelltown City Council. We'll get into that. A man who's much kinder than every council in the land. That's Mr. Rob Bashara. How are you this evening?
Yeah, I'm good, Josh. I've just come up from Blackmore Oval watching the Leichhardt Wanderers under-18s versus last year's under-16s, and it must be my presence that invokes this sort of behaviour, but the game was called off with 12 minutes left by the referee, who had absolutely no control, and the boys were playing pretty well. There was no violence or anything like that. He was just absolutely useless, but I seem to bring that sort of behaviour from referees.
I was there on Sunday morning. My son scored 2 tries in his first ever game of rugby league against the Strathfield Raiders. So there you go. We've both been to that field. Never been there before. It's very well hidden, the Strathfield Raiders field over there. But anyway, on to the West Tigers. Well, first we're going to, of course, give a shout out to our friends over at iChoice. Roberto?
Yeah, for all your home loan needs, call iChoice Informed Loans on 9743 0000. They're at the corner of Liverpool Road and the Boulevard, and Jason and his team will certainly look after you.
Jason's absolute legend, Tigers fan as well. Amazing office over there. So yeah, give him a call and he'll give you a better deal on your home loan. Apparently they're saying a few interest rate cuts coming this year.
Oh, they said something about the Treasurer was meeting with the Reserve Bank people today. I just kind of zoned off. Doesn't affect whether we win or lose at Newcastle this week.
That's true.
Priority one.
Yeah, it will affect iChoice, I guess. They'll get plenty more customers.
True.
Also, a big shout out to Adel Haj. We had a good chat with him on Sunday night as well, breaking down the game against the Broncos. Lots of great things said there. So check it out. After you've listened to this episode, go back if you haven't already. It's another great chat with Adel, and we'll have him again Sunday night. Be a quick turnaround again this Sunday for Adel, but yeah.
And just before you get off that topic, we should mention that when we play Cronulla at Leichhardt, that we'll most likely be doing a live show here, and Adele will be in Sydney and he'll be joining us live. So he'll actually do the show with us.
Might do a Q&A or something.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so come and meet him at the Orange Grove after the Cronulla game.
All right. News. We do have news. I almost skipped over it. The big story today is, as Richo's head's kind of almost blocking you there on my graphic there. I didn't take that into consideration. Richo threw out a Behind the Raw podcast this afternoon talking about the Campbelltown situation, the Campbelltown Stadium situation. I've got a little clip here. The podcast where I think it's about 11 minutes or something,
Yeah, 10
Richo.
minutes or so, yeah.
I've just got a little couple-minute clip here with the main crux of it. So here's Richo talking about Campbelltown Stadium.
We've had lengthy discussions with the NRL, with Campbelltown, with the stakeholders in the area, such as West Macarthur, etc., about Campbelltown Stadium and what we need to do to play there. Because unless it improves, it's a very simple thing. And as I said before, I don't do Trumpian threats. We won't play there. It's as simple as that.
Crooked.
Because at the moment, it's not at a standard that's required to be an NRL club, NRL ground. But the bottom line is it's time to deliver. We've spoken to them about that by the 30th of June. We need to have signed off on a heads of agreement, an agreement that they are able to upgrade it to 22 to 24,000 people for seating for the next 3 to 5 years. Also, that they have between 1,200 and 1,500 corporates, improving dressing rooms, women's facilities, a whole range of different things that they need to be locked in. In the short term, that's a $50 million commitment, which they've got to organise because it's their stadium, it's not ours. And over 10 to 15 years, it's a $100 million commitment that they need to put in there to upgrade to a standard, where we have a boutique 20 to 24,000 seat stadium, 1,200 to 1,500 corporates that the Southwest can be proud of, that we can sell season tickets and memberships to grow. Because our membership in the area is really poor compared to what it is in Balmain. And the reason for that, obviously, is number of games that are played there and the fact that we're not constantly playing there and the fact that, you can't be guaranteed the number of games. We want to lock in the number of games. We want to lock in between 7 to 9 games there over a period of the next 5 to 15 years or 3 to 15 years. But really, I'm telling you clearly up front, despite the talk and the negotiating, the assistance to the NRL and all the rest of it, the reality is we can't, talk's cheap and things that aren't signed off on don't happen. And we are not going to, we need by the 30th of June to know, we know where we're going with Leichhardt and the number of games we're going to play there. Council are comfortable with it. We're comfortable with what's going forward. We have no idea what's going on with Campbelltown, no idea how much money is going to be spent. We have thoughts and plans and photos, and they've been very open about it. But the reality is the stadium must be locked in for an upgrade for us to lock in for any period of time.
All right. Apologies there. In between the clip, we're straightening the camera. Nice shot, close-up shot of Roberto on camera. I forgot they were live to the internet.
Side on.
Righto, but the Richo podcast today, Rob, we just heard a clip of talking about Campbelltown Stadium. Basically, he's saying upgrade the stadium or they'll walk away from the stadium. Kind of deja vu with the Leichhardt situation.
Exactly deja vu. That tactic seemed to work with getting the funding for Leichhardt. We've obviously set up offices at Campbelltown last year, and things are obviously progressing slower than Richo would like, and he's had enough. He's basically said if we don't get some sort of confirmation by June 30th, that he'll go to Plan B, which will still be a viable and probably even a better proposition for us. But I think, obviously deep down, we don't want that to happen. We want Campbelltown to be our main home. Agreed with pretty much everything he said today, except that Brisbane scored 20 minutes in the 10-minute period before and after half time, not 14. But
we'll forgive him for not.
Forgive him for that one. But I love the transparency.
He's not a stats man.
I think he's done more in 18 months than Grant Mayer and Justin Pascoe did in a decade. So we're in the right hands. I'm glad he's come out and done it. It keeps us all in the loop. Just trust what Richo says and it'll be right.
Yeah, a lot of people are panicking about this, and this show has been a long time, even though we're broadcasting from a pub near Leichhardt Oval, and you and I, Rob, were previously Balmain Tigers fans. We are very pro 100%. Campbelltown on this show and have been for years and years. We love going out to Campbelltown. It's a great ground. From a fan's perspective, we embrace that the Macarthur area is such a high growing area, and the West Tigers have moved offices out there, as Richard talks about in that podcast as well. So people are saying, oh, why are they going to? They're not. He's playing the game like he did with Leichhardt. Put the faith in it. The club needs, as Adele. Someone in the comments mentioned. Was it Carla? Someone mentioned that Adele talked a fair bit in the Sunday night pod, Rob, about the discrepancies between funding between these Storms and your Roosters and your Broncos.
Yeah.
In terms of staff, and because the club just doesn't have
just
the money.
affordability.
Yeah.
It's just affordability. We don't have that. He was mentioning that, the Storm had a dozen people on the sideline, on Sunday against Manly. We got 4 or 5. We just don't have the funds, but we're doing fantastically well with what we've got, but we don't have any surplus funds. We're doing what we can with the absolute bare minimum. And we need to get our feet properly into Campbelltown. Richo said something about having possibly 7 to 9 games there per season. I mentioned something on our private chat today, like with the Patreons, before I'd heard the audio of Richo. I can promise you, if I had been born in this era at Campbelltown, I wouldn't be a West Tigers supporter because I wouldn't be connected to the team. I don't see enough of them. Luckily back in the Stone Age when I was a kid, even if the games weren't at Leichhardt every second week, all the away grounds were nice and close. So you could get to Belmore, you could get to Lidcombe, you could get to Cogra, you get to wherever. So you got to see your team and get attached to them every week. You can't do that now. And if we're really going to put our footprint in the Macarthur area, they've got to have a regular presence there. And we don't have that right now. Richo's frustrated. Hopefully what he's trying to do will work. I think it's more this clip today that he put out, this pod or whatever you like to call it. I think everything's progressing, but I just think he needed to put a little bit of a catalyst, have a spark up and just get things moving a bit quicker. So hopefully we get some action in that. We've only got, 2.5 months till the end of June. So there needs to be some fast action. But he said government officials and NRL officials and Barry O'Farrell, everyone's working together. So hopefully they get it done sooner rather than later. But at least we'll know by beginning of July where our future stands.
And the thing is, we're sharing the ground with Macarthur FC. So it's in the interest of, and like Penrith have said with their flash new stadium they're getting built, they want to have concerts out there. So there's no reason why, as time goes on, this stadium will be used until we're well into old man territory. In Sydney's population, it's about 7. There'll probably be 9 million. There'll probably be 1 million people living as the city expands. So the stadium will probably be a place. There's an airport going not far. It might be a destination, and not only the West Tigers are playing, Macarthur are playing. You might end up getting some other sporting comp franchise heading out there as well. You might get concerts there. You get all sorts of things like events for the Macarthur to happen there. So it's in the best interest of the Macarthur, the region.
It's the fastest growing region. It's the fastest growing region in Australia. They deserve a stadium of some sort, whether it's soccer, rugby union, rugby league. It needs facilities out there. They don't have it. Yeah,
100%. As speaking of Campbelltown Council, unleash. No. Mention what happened.
Okay.
Mention what happened. I put it on the socials today.
Keep it under 10 minutes, mate.
Yeah, so not for the first time, but for the second time, I got fined for rear to curb parking or rear to curb angle parking in that area on what's the name of the road?
I posted on the socials today, but basically it's that little spot as you drive past the Leagues Club on the non-train car park side. I did put it on the socials today.
I can find it for you.
Everyone to know, have you been to Campbelltown before? It's this little...
You go across that little bridge afterwards.
And there's always, for years and years, I've parked there for years, rear to curb, always parked rear to curb. As has been fined for parking rear to curb, apparently you got to parallel park there. And I put it up on the socials today, and someone else mentioned that they got pinged for rear to curb
Pembroke Road.
parking. Pembroke Road, okay. There's no signs saying that you have to rear to curb, parallel park. If you parallel park there, you're only going to fit probably 6 cars in that spot. So courteously, all fans always rear to curb park there. There's no sign that says anyone that parks there has to park parallel, because it is a bulk. It's almost a car park looking sort of street, if you do know it. So Campbelltown Council, if someone is listening, I think we've got to reach enough that someone from Campbelltown will be listening. It's an absolute money grab, this, to go after, and they've done it multiple games. They're obviously doing it at West Tigers games, targeting people. They're not blocking the road. There's nothing dangerous about what Az and the other people parking there have done. Give people a warning. Put signage there, and why do you have to send a fine in the mail? You clearly just revenue raising. Well, fingers crossed, put it towards a friggin' $50 million stadium if you get enough of them. But put a sign up, says rear to curb, and give people a warning that they can't park there. Because we've been doing it for years, and all of a sudden they're starting to ping people. Shane...
I locked it, so that was the main thing.
A bit of inner west bias coming out of the Orange Grove Hotel. All right, we'll go back to the footy. There's the rant, but Campbelltown Council, we've had
I might just make a small suggestion. Don't park there again. Like if they've got their bitten once before, just don't do it again.
Third time's a charm.
Even if you're in the right.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing was, I called Dad as I got there just to make sure that everything was above board and I was parking like the right way in the right spot based on like the wording of the fine, which says like not parallel to curb in direction of travel. So I don't know. I mean, if
parallel, obviously,
yeah, if they're
Josh will edit this 2 or 3 minutes and send it into the Roads and Transport Authority. This will be your defence.
And like Dad told me, yep, everything's fine. You're facing the right way. You're doing everything right. Based on the fact that there's no sign that says I have to park parallel to the curb. And I still get pinged. So
I hate that councils have to be like this, and the state government. It's a pretty passionate thing to me. I hate speed limits. I hate speed cameras. I just think all this revenue raising, and they hide behind that it's for people's safety when it's not.
It's definitely a trap.
It's
a
trap.
At 6 o'clock on a Sunday night.
Money.
Like it's pretty poor.
Yeah. Like us, the same. They do it. Yeah, they probably do it here. Time parking. And it's on game day only. Yeah. Yeah, the parking at Leichhardt's already hard, and they make it even harder around here. Righto, let's get back to the rugby league. The Broncos 46-24. Unfortunately, we're here at the Orange Grove Hotel with how many Tigers fans do you reckon? We had a good 30, 40 of us.
Mate, well, we had Shane and his son Hamish, who were regulars. We had, who else is a we had Tony and his son Mick. Who else did we have?
Dante. I remember Dante.
Yeah, also that was Vince. He had his mates, Dante,
yeah,
Jack, Nick, I forget who the other bloke was. We met Alex. We had Matamua fan club.
Jay.
Oh, you're like a stats man for people.
I love people.
Yeah,
we had a great time. We had a great time. And they were like, everyone was scattered around the pub. It was just a really good, it was a good afternoon. Enjoyed the game, to be honest. The boys gave us a bit of a thrill the first half.
Yeah. So
we were in it up to our ears. A bit of a surprise to me, to be honte, but I was happy with the performance.
Yep. And we'll be Sunday, Arvo, to do the same. How are you feeling? It's a good 4 or 5 days later after the Broncos. We're obviously, it's the point of the week when we're starting to think about next week, but we've calmed down since the game. As you see on the camera, we're pretty emotionally down. But, I mean, the Broncos are a very good side, and I think the majority of West Tigers fans are pretty proud of the effort that they put into that game, considering they were short of a couple of guys too.
Yeah, for sure. I think we all went into that game with, I'd say, not a lot of expectation about what might happen, considering it was up there, their home ground. They're a very good team when they're on. They're a very poor team when they're off, but they're on more often than they're off. And we showed up and we really stuck it to them in the first half. And then that little 10, 15-minute period either side of halftime just killed us. And the fact that we didn't get the ball for that long, we did not have a single ounce of possession in that period of the game once they scored that try near the end of the first half. And from there, it just took a lot of the momentum out of our guys. We completely lost all the momentum we had worked hard to build. Went into halftime behind because of that 2-point field goal, 40-20 right after halftime, and a try immediately after that. And that was kind of the point where it started to get a little bit hard. But in saying that, the team never stopped trying. They never gave up. They never put the cue in the rack. They kept on sticking in there, hanging in the fight, defending their butts off, just no matter how hard it got. And then we still scored a couple of tries in the second half, which put a bit more respectability in the scoreline and showed that we can hang in there. We can fight. We will put it to the better teams. We will make them play their best game to beat us, and we're not an easy beat anymore.
Roberto?
I'm actually shocked by a lot of our fans. I really am. I'm not having a go at them, but the same fans that told me last week, I'll be happy with a respectable effort against the Broncos. And, as long as, we're not embarrassed and all this sort of stuff. And then I look at the stats, 7 tries to 5 to the Broncos. One was definitely a no try with a massive forward pass. I can tell you now, the second try for Willison has been confirmed behind NRL closed doors. They've all agreed that Willison catches the ball on the inside of Pay's shoulder, and it should have been a no try.
The commentators didn't even mention.
Okay, so there's that try. There's a forward pass try. I can live with Arthur's second try, but it did come out of the hands slightly forward. But that's marginal. They're going to let those go. Then you add that Royce Hunt scored a try, but Fainu Bole put 2 of his fingers on his back, which must weigh 20 kilos each, obviously, to be called a driver. Like, it could have been 6 tries to 5 our way, but it was a very respectable performance. It's actually given me more faith, which is kind of silly because the Broncos scored, 46 points?
46, yeah.
But, they kicked 8 out of 8 and a 2-point field goal. We couldn't kick a goal to, it was like I said during the commentary, it was like under 8s. Everyone was getting a turn at goal kick.
Yeah.
The first 3 goal kicks, it felt like we were at Birchgrove or something. But I'm proud of the boys. I think the team's identity has been set. It's built on not giving up. It's about trying to defend your mistakes. Not that we always did it, but we don't quit. It's a team to be proud of. Everything Benji said in the press conference is pretty much what we were saying at the end of full time on our live stream. So I've got a lot of faith in this team. And, there's an old saying, if you don't quit, you don't lose. And this team's got no quit. And I don't know what people want. Like, it's the Broncos, 7 tries to 5 down, away from home, without Samuela Fainu, without our co-captain, Jarome Luai, without Skelton. They're all going to be back, as Richo said this week. There's so many positives. And if we don't win this week, okay, we'll be 2-4, and then we go beat Para, and then we go beat Cronulla. But I reckon we're going to win 3 in a row, boys. So it's
calling
not,
it now.
Yeah, I'm calling it now. I've had enough of this emotional hedging crap. Tip the Tigers and ride or die. So
I will add as well, there was that other call late in the second half with the Billy Walters very clear knock on at dummy half, which if that was picked up, that would have given us a really good attacking chance. And at that point, I think we were maybe 12 behind.
Oh no, I think it was
18 behind.
It was done and dusted by then. But if that forward pass gets called from, firstly the Willison second try is earlier, but just that forward pass from Cobbo to Billy Walters, it was 32-18 at the time. If we get a scrum on our quarter line, you never know. We go 70 metres or build a bit of pressure.
Completely different
game. We just
game.
lost the opportunity to get back in the game. I'm not going to say it cost us the game, but I'm proud of the guys' efforts. The one thing for me this week, and we're not going to do 3-2-1s now, I found it hard to do 3-2-1s. But at the same time, when I look at all the players, I could not say any player played badly. It's just that not many stood out for great games. So, guys, there's a lot to like about what we're doing. We've got a lot of new players and a few players out, a few players with not much experience. I'm not happy with where we are on the ladder, but I'm very happy with the foundations that are being set, and we've got plenty to look forward to. And there's no point whinging. It's good times ahead, and really we should knock over Newcastle this week. Whether we do or we don't can depend on a ref or an injury or chance and whatever happens. But we've got the team to beat them this week, and we should beat them. And we're going to be playing them with Jarome Luai back. We're going to have Appy Coruscant. We didn't have those guys in round 1. I'm sure we'll use the right side of our attack this time as opposed to round 1. There's plenty to look forward to. But like I keep saying, just don't give up till there's no hope. There's plenty of hope where a lot of teams are ahead of us because they've had the bye, Josh. We haven't had a bye. And unfortunately this year, that's the one thing that I think does work against us. The boys are ripping in every week. There's going to be some fatigue setting in, and we don't get the bye to round 12, 15, 23?
Yep, that's it.
So with the bye's, at least another 6 weeks away. But, mate, I love what I'm seeing from the team, and Jarome Luai will make a big difference this week.
For sure. Anything else to add before we go to Benji Presser?
Well, just based on what we've talked about so far and how we're a little bit more upbeat on the team, just to tell people out there that the people who submitted the survey this week who had really, really negative things to say in the rant section, or I guess we're not really calling it a rant section, but none of those guys got to look in for the wins from Rob and me.
I want people to be truthful and feel what they feel. But, okay, if we'd have kicked another 4 goals, what would that have made us? 32.
3. We missed 3.
We missed 3. All right. So call it 30. Yeah, is that? Thanks, mate. Okay. So call it 30 points. Would you have been happy if it was 44 or 46 to 30? Like, does that make it a better scoreline? Everyone says it's okay, because I keep telling everyone the goal kicks are a big discrepancy in how the final score looked. As I told you, if I'd have gone out Saturday night not knowing the game, I would have thought we got smashed, but we didn't get smashed. We were really competitive. There's some questionable things that I still, the interchange stuff's still a bit how you going for me, but again, we'll talk about that later.
Yep. All right, let's go to Benji's presser, and this week I've got him on the little magic button here. Here's the first clip from Benji.
Yeah, I think the scoreboard doesn't reflect it, like you're talking about specifically the points, but there are moments in the game where we got put under scoreboard pressure and we're chasing the win, and we made errors, which gives them more field position. If you're in the game, you complete more sets and you go like toe to toe with the cycle of the game. But when you're chasing points, you start forcing your hand a bit and forcing errors, and that's what we did. So it's credit to them. They're a really good side. Honestly, probably top 3 or 4 in the comp. A chance of winning it this year, so they outclassed us in the end. But our boys showed some really good fight, and there's a lot as a coach I can take away from it.
So Benji, kind of feeling a little bit how you've just been there, Rob, staying pretty positive about everything. A lot of people will probably criticise him for not holding us up to the highest standards, but I think context is important.
I thought his previous press conference after the New Zealand game was really good. I think this was his best one yet. It only went for a couple of minutes, but he summed it up perfectly. I don't know, man. Maybe I got delusions of grandeur or something. I think we're a better team than people realise, because everyone goes, "Oh, we should have beaten this team. We should have beaten that team. We won these other 2 games. They were shit teams. Oh, we should have been more competitive against the Broncos." I think we're already that. That's 5 teams out of 16 other teams. That's basically a third of the comp, and we've performed well against all of them to a degree. Maybe we're not that bad. If you think we're meant to be beating all these teams, then obviously you think we're better than what we are. So just have a bit of faith. I agree with what he said. I wish he could rip at the referees a little bit, because I feel like it's going to take some monumental blunder that costs us a game, that costs us a 4-point swing on another team competing with the finals. It's really going to hurt us. I can cop losing to Brisbane. I don't want to be losing to Newcastle again. We've got to at least break back. They beat us at home. We need to win that game at home. Yep. And they've got a lot of changes. They're very, very beatable this week. Just got to watch Ponga and their flashy centres, and really not much else. They don't have much strike anywhere else. So I think we can get them, and I think the boys will be really fired up this week.
Right. One more, like Rob says, only a short press conference this one. So one last clip.
Yeah, I thought we came out with real good intent and executed the way we wanted to play in the first half. And I'm really proud of the guys' effort. Yeah. I think what I learned tonight is we've got a team that when we get it right, we can do some good things. And then, 40-20 after halftime, chip and chase from Reno, and then they sort of took the game out of our hands. But a scoreboard pressure, and we made a few errors. But in saying that, I'm proud of my team.
Yeah, remaining positive there. As would you? I mean, I think that's kind of the theme here.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Tigers of old, we conceded a try, I think 3-4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes into the game. And that was off the back of a 7-tackle set they got, because Latu put a high bomb that went a little too deep and caught in the end goal. And the fact that they scored from that, I think the Tigers of old probably would have hung their heads and let the game get away from them a little bit. Like that could have been another Townsville 2023 sort of situation where we concede 60, 70 plus. But with the new team, with the new signings, I think there's a lot to be said about the fight in the team, the resilience they're showing. And I think that was the buzzword for me after the Dolphins win in round 3, when we went up there and were trailing by 12 and then trailing by 6, and then just kept battling to take the lead late in the game. And the resilience they showed that day, while that was in a winning effort, the resilience they showed in a losing effort to not let the game get away from them as deeply as it could have, I think is a massive credit to Benji, a massive credit to our 2 co-captains and to the rest of the boys around them.
Righto, let's get into your player ratings. So keep an eye out after the game on Sunday evening. I'll put out the form again. So thank you to everyone who voted on the form this week and send your rants in. We'll get to your rants in a second. But here The averages for the players for this week: Dream Buller 7.4, the wingers Taruva got 7.5, and Lolii got 6.9. Adam Dwayne 5.8, Stafford Toa 7.1, Lockie Galvin 7.3, Latu Fainu 6.4, Trill May 8.2, Fanua Bole 7.3, Appy 7.0. The back rowers 6.8 for Safar, 6.4 for Jack Bird, 6.5 for Twali at the back, Talon Silva 6.3, Royce Hunt 6.3, Sione Fainu did pretty well with 7.4, and Tony Sukar got 6.7. Rob, based on any overs or unders there?
Oh, an under for me is Adam Dewey 5.8. I think that's crazy low. But what I do like about these numbers, if we went so badly, why we got a lot of 6 point something and 7 point something in those numbers? Obviously, like the fans have seen something positive. If your worst player was basically a 6, which is 5.8, I think that's a pretty reasonable effort overall. But I think that's fair. I don't think anyone really stood out. I don't know. Maybe Jarome might even be a bit high, and I love Jarome. But yeah, I think. I don't know. I mean, I had Terrell May as my best player, so I'm not going to disagree with that, obviously. But yeah, they're all pretty fair numbers, I think, except for Adams.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. And yeah, like you were saying, last year before, we put a performance like that, we're probably seeing a lot of 3s, 4s, and 5s in this. And like you said, we're seeing an 8.2. We're seeing a whole bunch in the 7s, and basically the rest of them in the 6s. And I think that's overall a really solid performance. And while yes, we didn't get the win, while yes, we did get blown out on the scoreboard a little bit, I mean, the team still performed decently well, and that was without one of the main barometers of our team and the effort and the enthusiasm the team are showing, and the celebrations, and all of the high flying fun that they seem to be having out there when the team's on the park. And obviously, with some reinforcements coming back this week, things could look a lot different.
I've got to mention 6.5 for coach Benji Marshall as well.
That's a bit low.
Yeah, I guess in a loss, the numbers, get skewed down a little bit. So based on those numbers, your 3-2-1, the people's 3-2-1 is May got the 3, Taruva got the 2, Buller got the 1. Rob, who are your 3-2-1 this week?
Well, I'm going to follow Mr. Thompson's lead and go from the bottom up. Honestly, I didn't have a 1 because I found it very hard to find a third best player. But having spoken to Adele last Sunday night, he convinced me that Taruva played a really good game. So I put Taruva at 1. I thought Stafford Toa was really good the other night. He was like, he could penetrate it a lot. He ran a lot of meters. Did a lot of good things. We need that every week. We don't need that every second or third week. So hopefully we can get a good performance. He's got a big job this week against Bradman Best. And Terrell May, I think he just sums up this whole team's attitude. I know the amount of work he gets through, and he's playing 65, 70 minutes, last week 80 minutes. But we talk, Aaron just mentioned earlier, like this never give up attitude. And I think I've mentioned it, you've mentioned it. We're hoping while we're watching the game at the Orange Grove that the Broncos don't put 50 points on. We're like, screaming for full time. There's under a minute left. We don't have full time. Terrell May's got the ball and he puts a grubber kick through. He's not giving up. He's trying to find a way to score. He's not quitting. Let's create something. Let's see if we can make something happen, no matter, even if it's the 80th minute. And that it's actually like he's kind of like a captain in a way. He's really leading by example. So he's not all talk. He backs it up with what he does. And yeah, I can't fault the bloke. He's one of the best signings we've ever had.
Just before I get into my 3-2-1, couple of honourable mentions. One, Alex Seyfarth putting in a pretty decent chip kick.
Pinpoint accuracy riffraff.
Surprised all of us. Probably surprised everyone else who watched the game as well. And I found it hard to leave him out of my points for the intercept. But Alex Twal, that was a heck of a run off the intercept, and he was pretty much the only player that saw that coming, and he takes it, what was it, about 20 meters? Pretty solid effort by the big fella. So for my 3-2-1, I gave my 1 to Dream Buller. I thought while some of his positional plays in defense could use a little bit of work, he still showed a fair bit in attack. Brilliant run off the pass from Jeral to set up Star for one of his tries off the dropout from the Broncos that honestly could have gone so horribly wrong for us if Adam wasn't a little bit more heads up and tried to get to it as quick as he did, because in fairness, it was a really smart play by them to potentially try and get the ball back on our side of halfway, which almost worked. So that was really, really good to see. I gave my 2 to Lockie Galvin. He was everywhere in attack, especially after Latu went off. I still really like what I'm seeing out of Lockie, and his consistency, I think, is one of the things that's impressing me the most, and just his willingness to get out there, his willingness to have a crack and give it a go. He's got no fear. If something doesn't come off, he won't hang his head. He'll shake it off, get right back out there and get to the next play. And he's defending like a champ. He had Payne Haas running at him, and he had almost a one-on-one tackle, Payne Haas, in the first half. And we saw Payne gunning for him, and we were a little bit concerned that could also go wrong, but it didn't. He stood his ground, took his man, and brilliant tackle there as well. And I gave my 3 to Stafford Toa as well. I thought this was one of his best games for the club since the day he made Valentine Holmes his son, as is the common terminology of that out at Leichhardt that afternoon. Really good game by Star, scored a double. Really good defense as well. I think it was quite solid. So, yeah, just a bit of an unheralded player. Got my 3 this week.
Speaking of Star, I noticed I can't remember what Instagram post it was, but by the West, I think it was a team list. The team list was, and someone said, "Oh no, Stafford Toa again." I'm like, do you even watch the West Tigers, or are you just complaining for the sake of complaining? Stafford Toa has been.
Is it the same person who complains on Twitter?
No,
every day.
Not Mr. G. I don't think so, unless it was some sort of.
And I want Riff Raff to know all the way from Florida that my man next to me here was only mentioning Alex Twal, and I mentioned, aren't you going to mention the Safe Arth chip kit? So I'm going to take the credit for that, but you just make me
excuse you. I was still umming and ahhing about whether I included him. I decided it was a very late call in that he came into my honourable mentions.
Putting it on the Discord chat.
Screenshot. You won't hear much on a screenshot. So totals wise, May's way out in front, 27. Bole there on 13, Baller on 10. Lockie and Star there on 7. Skelton doesn't play for a week, 6, and then a few trailing behind, but a long way to go in this season still. Righto, time to move on to trying to find my number here. Why are they all out of order? I don't know why when I upload them, they go out of order. Rants of the week. Troy said scoreboard lied. We weren't that outplayed, but they were clinical and we weren't. Think Benji got a lot wrong tonight. So you said you don't pick positives. I when I'm picking what I want to read out, I try to get a variety. Josh said, that's not me, it's a different Josh. Best loss by 20 points I've seen, 7 tries to 5, and really should have been 6 tries or minimum. Brilliant first half and kept coming in the second half. David Grant said 7 tries to 5. Crazy Royce, no try. Billy Walters try from a Tom Brady pass. I know they changed the obstruction interpretation, but didn't Willison receive the ball on the inside shoulder of his decoy and run behind? If you watch this is me talking now. If you watch that try on our live stream, I said it live. I was questioning it. I don't know why the Fox commentators weren't, but anyway, he said, David said, Jesse Arthur's grounding was optional. Thought we showed enough to be very positive for the year ahead. So the majority of the comments were positive, but the 2 winners of the Orange Grove Hotel vouchers, who chose Tigers 2025?
That was me.
You want to read it out? Can you read? Is that screen big enough?
I can
read it out.
I'll let Aaron read it out.
Rob doesn't have his glasses.
But just remember too, guys, we talk about that 20 points that they scored from the 37th minute to the 47th minute. If we'd have kicked our goals, even with that 20-point surge, I should say, it would have been 26-18. and we're still in the game. Those goals really hurt.
Mm.
And Adele mentioned something in our pod that I should mention just in case people didn't listen to, and that's why you should listen to Adele. Apparently, we never practiced any goal kicking at Suncorp pre-game. We never trained outside on the field. And that might have been the difference between kicking those goals or not.
Mm.
And maybe that's where some of the low marks came in for the
Even
coaching.
Justin
But
Pascoe's had a kick on that field. We
exactly.
didn't.
I mean, maybe Justin Pascoe scared them all off by doing it out there. But it's interesting that we didn't. There must be a reason why we didn't go out on the field. But he certainly told me we didn't train outdoors, which was quite unusual.
I'll mention as well, if we lead 18-12 or 16-12 when they go for that 2-point field goal, if it's one of those two score lines, I don't see them doing it. Like if we kick one of our conversions and we're 14-12, then they probably do it to go 14-14.
And we still wouldn't have been deflated.
Exactly.
Even if they do kick it, 18-14, we're still like, okay, we're winning. We've had a good half.
Yeah, and that's that other situation. Like if we do kick those 3 goals in the first half, totally different ball game, and like anything different could have happened. The second half could have even played out entirely differently. Anyway, so Tiger 2025 says, as many have said, scoreline absolutely does not reflect the game and flatters Brisbane. In my opinion, we were the better team overall, which is especially impressive considering they are arguably favourites for the grand final and the massive gap in experience between the two teams. Haas and Walsh were unremarkable and generally well contained. Benji developed a clear game plan which worked and I think rattled Brisbane to some extent, particularly in the first half. Without Adam Reynolds and a remotely decent ref/bunker, we win that game. Super proud of the boys and a lot to be positive about moving forward. Just quickly on what he said about Haas as well. Haas got a Dally M point out of this game.
I'm just going to mention
what an absolute joke.
He was the 4th best prop on the field. Carrigan was awesome. Willison was awesome.
Who were the voters?
May was awesome.
Don't know. They don't
keep it secret now.
Yeah, as soon as they made it 2 judges on each game, they've kept it private.
Now I know both teams.
AI.
Both teams lost their halfbacks. Okay, shortly after half time, but Brisbane have someone that played halfback for the last 3 years at St George in Ben Hunt, and was an easy switch for us. Lockie had to move to first receiver and play that all the time. So I don't think it was fair for the Galvanator not having Latu there. So I thought, other than the kick that led to the 7 tackle set, I thought Latu really played well, straightened our attack a lot, defended quite well. He's a good young player. He's just been extremely unlucky. We probably didn't mention too, Josh, he's fractured his thumb and he's out for a couple of months. So that's not a good thing for him. He's been quite unlucky.
Who's fractured? Who's done?
Latu Fainu. Latu's out for a couple of months. But hopefully we'll be back bigger and better in about 8 weeks from now.
That sucks.
And the fact that Reynolds, even though he didn't play the full game, he tore us to shreds. And the fact that he didn't get a single Dally M point was ridiculous.
I mean, just because he played 46 minutes.
It's a dumb system.
Yeah, but he was easily, he's still probably the best player on the field, maybe the second best at worst. I don't know how he doesn't get points. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's a dumb system. I hate it.
Just dumb judges.
Have we read Tigers 2025s?
Yeah, we finished it. Yeah.
You read it.
So
okay.
you got Aaron's, I think, left to read.
Yep. And that was Clint Schmeider.
All right. Clint said, proud of their efforts. Bronx have class right across their squad, and we definitely went with them for a large patch of the first half. Latu leaving the field was the game changer for me. Felt like we were just starting to get back into the match after Reynolds left the field for them. If Latu stays on, I feel like we win the match, in my opinion. Does Klein have an issue with the Tigers? Not even joking. This is a serious question, as the twat seriously gives us nothing when he's involved in a match with us. Just on that, I'll never forget.
The twat won the $20 voucher, I reckon.
I will never forget 2018 out of Campbelltown against the Broncos as well with the marker not square penalty.
Was that him, was it?
That was him on field, yeah.
I'll never live down. I mean, it's not his fault for the forward pass, but Kennedy just seeing that forward pass and deciding not to call it.
He could have given us the square up for the Royce Hunt. Like he could have completely ignored whatever he was looking at with the driver there, but he had to niggle. He had to find something.
Yeah, no, it was really poor officiating.
Righto, moving on to Sunday's game now. Let's forget about the Broncos one. You can watch it with us here at the Orange Grove Hotel, 4 o'clock or 4:05 kickoff. We'll probably be here a fair bit earlier than that. So come Sunday Arvo, have a schooner, have a burger, get something to eat, and come watch the footy with us. Hopefully another strong contingent like we had last weekend. And let's go into the team list as we'll go the West Tigers first. Read out the West
Read
Tigers.
the whole team.
All right.
Yeah, just go. We'll go the whole team.
Okay, I can do that. So we have Jarome Luai is our fullback with Sunia Taruva and Jeral Skelton on the wings. Adam Dewey and Stafford Toa are the centres with Lockie Galvin and Jarome Luai in the halves. Terrell May and Fanua Bole are our front rowers with Appy Coruscant at hooker. Samuela Fainu, Alex Seyfarth and Alex Twal are the second rowers and lock. Our bench is Talon De Silva, Royce Hunt, Jack Bird and Sione Fainu. Our 18th man is Tony Sukar. Our reserves are Heath Mason, Luke Laulii, the Brent Naden named in the reserves as well, and Kit Laulii.
Nunes is pointing out our fancy little ticker at the bottom. Yeah, I got the team lists. You strap yourself in, Nunes. I've done it for all 8 games this week. So,
that is very fancy.
Yeah,
that's the first time seeing it. That
team list, yeah, rather than it shoving over our faces.
Oh, look at you.
All messy. Yeah, got a nice little
You pro, you.
ticker.
Very nice.
Copying.
he got. I'm guessing you got the idea from me suggesting you do something to have the score on screen on Saturday. Because you decided to use the ticker for that.
I did. I used it as a score update, which helped going back to rewatching it and clipping it as well. So, yeah, well pointed out, Nunes. He's a man of details, Mr. Nunes.
Very observant.
Righto, Rob, thoughts on the West Tigers team that we've named this week?
Well, I don't even know if Latu Fainu would have been put in that 17, but that's basically a full-strength squad. So I think we've got a massive advantage over the Knights, who have got a bit of a disrupted team. Good to see Samuela back. We really need his strength on the edge there. Skelton will provide yardage and finishing as well out on the left. So hopefully he's 100% recovered. And obviously our captain, who we purchased from Penrith, Jarome Luai, like Adele said in the pod last Sunday night, I don't think you can understate how valuable he is to the team on and off the field in terms of leadership, accountability. Like to see a little bit more individual brilliance from him. And honestly, I got a feeling we're going to see some of it this week. We have to win, and he knows that, and he's a winner. So I think this week's the week we fire up. And again, I'm not tipping against the Tigers unless I think we're going to lose, and I don't think we're going to lose.
Yeah, I like this team. Obviously, we've got the reinforcements coming back in. Jeral missed a couple of games with that hammy. Samuela copped that cork in the same game as Skelton did the hammy, but he played the Warriors game and had to leave that after re-aggravating it. And while there was concern about Luai's shoulder, the fact that he's named and from all reports seems good to go. Benji, I think in the press conference after the game, said he's 100% back in, or this might have been the press conference the day before the game. But yeah, I like the team. This is the same team we had for our 2 wins, and hopefully they can get a third one.
Righto, run us through the Knights of Newcastle. Yeah.
So just before I rattle off the Knights team, I'm just going to point out their outs. And this is a mass, like there's 5 of them, but all together it's a very massive bunch of outs. So Adam Elliott, Jack Cogger, Jack Hetherington, Jacob Saifiti, and James Schiller. That is a lot of outs. That is a lot of cavalry missing for them.
They should have had more too, instead of getting fined.
Yeah, how did Crossland not get suspended?
Yeah,
anyway.
it's a joke.
All right, so the Knights, their fullback is Kalen Ponga. On the wings, they've got Kyle McCarthy and Greg Marziu. Dan Gagai and Bradman Best are the centres. Fletcher Sharp and Phoenix Crossland are in the halves. Crossland moving to the 7. Brody Jones and Leo Thompson are their front rowers with Jaden Brayley at hooker. Thomas Cant and Kai Pearce-Paul are their second rowers. Tyson Frizzell is their lock. Their bench is Matthew Arthur, Tyrone Thompson, Jermaine McEwen, and Matt Croker. Their 18th man is Paul Bryan. Their reserves are Jackson Hastings, Riley Jones, and Francis Manuelua.
Yeah, opting for Phoenix Crossland to go to 7 over Hastings to go to 7.
He's just not getting a look in, is he?
No, it's a bit of a deja vu sort of situation for him, I guess. But yeah, Rob, as said, lots of outs for the Knights. They're prime for the picking, hopefully.
Yeah, lots of outs. I've never heard of Kyle McCarthy, to be honest. I haven't even heard of a couple of these forwards. I was doing a
Is he
little...
related to Melissa?
Kyle's played one game
Let's
so far.
Let's
I
hope he's
think.
built like if he's staying on the wing. Oh gosh, I'm gonna get in trouble for that one. Okay. Yes. Shit, I made Josh laugh. Okay. Look, I didn't watch the Bulldogs Knights game because I was doing a bit of a rewatch of our game and trying to get some questions ready for Adele. But again, we're going to have to watch Ponga. Both their centers a strike. Marju is a dangerous finisher and hard to handle. We saw a lot of early kicks from the Galvanator last week, and I think we'll see plenty more of that this week, trying to kick behind the line. Might even be both sides. Definitely the best and Marju side is the slower side. So I could see a few kicks there, but it'll be nice to actually throw something at those blokes with some attack because, Fata Ape, when he played round one, and Taruva never saw any balls. So I think we'll work both sides of the field. I'm really confident, guys. I know Ponga's hard to stop, but we just, whatever Canterbury did on Sunday night, which I didn't watch, we just need to follow that blueprint because it was 20-0. So obviously they did something right. But to steal my Shannon Sharp, and as corny as this is going to sound, Josh, Kalen Ponga, Willie Tonga, the Zoo at Taronga, we ain't losing no longer. Tigers by 10.
Beautiful.
I think we'll get a lot of value if we're able to target Kyle McCarthy out on that wing. I don't know much about him either. I know he's played one.
The bridesmaid now.
I know he's played one game, but there's obviously a partnership there that's very untested in McCarthy and Gagai. If we can have them asking questions of each other, they'll be doubting each other. They won't really gel all that well, and we can potentially find some luck down there. So that's kind of where I'm thinking we need to go for this game. Ponga, he's a threat every time we play him. He seems to grow a third leg when he plays against us. Generally, as does Dan Gagai and Bradman Best, is like their quality in their team at the moment is those three. Phoenix Crossland, he's probably going to want to try and make a name for himself at the 7. I'm not sure how he's going to go as the number 7. There were obviously questions about him earlier in the season. Is he the man, or is he one of the men to fill that half spot for them? Their forward pack looks a lot lighter than normal, and while they've had Kai Pearce-Paul return, I don't really rate the rest of their forward pack all that much, and I genuinely think that this is a really good chance for us. Kai Pearce-Paul and Tyson Frizella are the only names in that forward pack that really concern me, and their bench looks pretty light as well. I think it's Tyrone Thompson and Jermaine McEwen debuting. I don't remember if that's the two that are debuting.
No,
but
I think McEwen's had 2 games, and I only know that from super coach purposes because I nearly bought him, so it must be the
Matthew Arthur.
Yeah.
I think
or 14.
Yeah, Matthew Arthur then and Tyrone Thompson.
Games. McEwen's played 2 games, but we can check that out. I can have a look for you now.
Here we go. Youngster Kyle McCarthy comes in on the wing for his second NRL game, and Brodie Jones joins the pack. Back row, Kai Pearce-Paul returns from suspension, and Tyrone Thompson and Matt Arthur make their club debuts off the bench. Okay, so that is the article on NRL.com.
Sorry, you caught me off guard there. Just going through our comments of our beloved.
And while you're looking for that, the reason we didn't do the tries is we're trying to save a bit of time. We do the tries on Sunday night.
And Facebook shut us down last time.
That's right.
Bloody Facebook.
And it's less fun when we lose.
True. Although we had 5 tries.
Yeah, it's fun if you don't include the Broncos tries. But all right, for all our tips this week, so we've all tipped the Tigers, but we'll leave them as they are the last game of the round. Connor, you're going to like my ticker for the other games. First one is Panthers and
the
Dolphins
up in Brisbane. I don't have the nuts to tip the Dolphins. I so want to, but I can't do it. I mean, I can't imagine Penrith losing 5 in a row, but the Dolphins were pretty good last week, and they've definitely got enough talent in that back line to hurt them. But yeah, Penrith just have to win, so I've gone Penrith.
If Penrith lose this game, how hard do you reckon it gets for them to make the finals from there? I mean, 1-5 isn't that bad in the grand scheme of things. They could turn it on really quickly.
They've got origin period though.
Yeah, and how much harder will it get for them? How many players will they lose? And just a fun little stat for you: the Panthers are the only team to not win on Australian soil yet this year.
Okay,
because their one win was Vegas, and they haven't won since they came back.
Yeah,
even the Warriors have a win on Australian soil against us.
Well, are they
Crazy.
missing anyone other than To'o, like as a main player? Because I just can't think of any off the top of my head.
Well, I think most of their injured players are starting to come back. Like they've got
Actually, hang on,
Dylan
Mitch
Edwards
Kenny's
back.
Mitch Kenny's out there. I've never seen Somerton there before. The hooker. So Mitch Kenny must be out this week.
Their number 6, who they've had recently,
Cole.
Jack Cole. That's right, he's out, and they're finally playing.
Copley's come off the bench.
What's his name? Blaze Talangi in the number 6. So there are some changes there. I've still gone the Panthers. I think they've got to turn it on sooner or later.
This week they're in trouble.
Oh, absolutely.
The origin period makes a big difference because they'll lose most
Cleary,
likely To'o,
Cleary.
Cleary.
Mm.
Yeah, we won't mention the other Penrith players at other clubs, but
Well, the story came out today that apparently it's going to be Moses Cleary most likely in the half. So
Good for us.
good for us. Yeah,
Great for us.
that'd be unfair on Luai though.
It really would. I mean, Cleary most likely going to come back regardless, but Mitch Moses, he's not back till round 9, so he's going to play round 9, 10, and 11.
They're talking
they're
12 now.
back. I saw a story today.
Really?
Next week. Yeah, they're talking
Really?
East against us.
The original plan was round 7 against us, but I heard 2 weeks ago that or last week, or I think it was, that they were pushing him back to potentially return round 9. So because they've got the bye in round 8, they play us round 7, and they've got the round 8 bye. So there's not much of there's nothing between those 2 games in 7 and 9 for them.
I want to play finals, but wouldn't it be nice if we weren't going to make the finals because we had 3 players in Origin, in Appy, Luai and Jeral May? That'd be a nice excuse at least.
I think May's a big chance.
May's there.
He might be our best chance.
Reserves, like at the very least, for Terrell.
Yeah,
for sure. I don't think Appy will get picked. I think they got their favourites. Reece Robson.
Yeah, I think
Reece
Appy
Robson's boring as batshit, but they just want someone that makes the 35 tackles and is just a boring robot at dummy half.
Yep, that's right. More Appy for us.
Yeah, and obviously with the new coach as well, it's not Madge anymore. It's back to
Daly.
Yeah, Laurie Daly. So what direction does he go in?
No idea. The guy hasn't coached since Origin, since he was losing. What did he win 1 series out of 6 or 7?
Yeah,
I don't know how he
2014.
to be honest. They must have had no one available.
Moving on, Dragons and Titans. We've all gone Dragons. Is it in Wollongong and Cogra? Wollongong. Yeah, they're pretty tough to beat down there. So Dragons are looking. They lost by a point last week, but they're looking better than than people anticipated. So
yeah, I just went the home ground here.
Yeah.
So Titans can beat them, but this is actually a really hard round. But I went Dragons, but zero confidence on this game.
Titans missing Tino. I think that's a big barometer for them.
He's out, is he?
Yeah, he's suspended. So they've got who's captaining Fodawaker. Fodawaker's their captain. They're obviously losing a lot without Tino. I'm going the Dragons just based on a little bit of a bounce back factor. And I think, down in Wollongong, they are pretty tough to beat down there.
Righto, we've all gone Broncos to win against
The Roosters.
The Roosters.
Just replying to Riff.
The Roosters have only won one game this year, and that was against Penrith.
Crazy.
Kind of weird.
Yeah,
I will be surprised if Adam Reynolds plays. That is a real weird one for me, but they've named him. But they do have Tyson Smoothie as 18th man, so maybe he comes onto the bench when Reynolds withdraws later in the week.
Yeah, the Chooks, that's dire straits for them.
They are. Isn't it awful?
Feel so sorry.
I'm shattered.
We're enjoying looking at them down there in 16th from our lofty position of 11th.
Look, we need to make finals to have any sort of shit that we can say against them. But moving on. Anyway, Manly and Sharkies.
Sharkies.
Rob and I have gone
at Perth, actually.
Oh, Perth, is it? Okay.
Is there 2 games in Perth?
Yep, doubleheader in Perth.
Doubleheader in Perth.
The next game, the Rabbits and Cows,
Oh,
and then
wow.
it's a crazy Super Saturday. Because they're off to Darwin for the third game.
For Para, yeah. So there's no games in Sydney.
Not a single game in Sydney this week. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Heard Woodsy say that today. Yeah.
Wow.
Wollongong as well.
Sydney.
Oh yeah.
And Wollongong, yeah. No Sydney.
I went Sharks, but I
last
don't
time that
trust the
happened?
Sharks.
No game in Sydney the whole round. I guess Magic Round. But apart from that, yeah, I've gone Sharks. Manly. Is Turbo playing?
No, Turbo's out.
And,
Turbo,
and even though he's
Turbo's out.
named, I would be very surprised if Jason Saab plays. I think Tom Talau will come.
I think this is a very, very desperate game for the Sharks. But in saying that, I've gone Manly because I like Lehigh. They still managed to put 24 points on the Storm. It was a very, very good performance by them. Obviously, it was at home. This is being on a neutral ground. I don't see too much of an advantage for the Sharks. I think this could be a very high-scoring game because it's a very good deck out there in Optus. Obviously, because they play AFL and cricket on it, it's got to be a pretty good deck. So, yeah, I think Manly get the win here, but I reckon this will be a close, high-scoring game.
And then Bunnies. Rob and I gone Bunnies, as you've gone Cows.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Back on the Sharks. I reckon we can beat the Sharks in a couple of weeks. You've already said that earlier. You think we're going three in a row?
That's all right.
I reckon the Sharks are over.
I'd like you to say it as well. Makes me feel better.
I reckon Sharks.
We've
Sharks are.
We've drawn them at Leichhardt as well. That is the best place to draw them. I think Adele said that on Sunday.
He
That
said
is
it on
the
Sunday.
best
We
possible
fielded
draw
them
for the
last.
Sharks.
Sorry, Rabbitohs, Cows. Yeah, Rob and I gone South, as you've gone Cows.
Not much confidence here for me, guys.
Yeah, it's tough.
Again, it's a really
especially-
tough.
Especially being over in
Yeah,
Perth.
for any of the punters out there, this might be the week to double up your extra time games. I think there might be a couple of golden point
It's
games.
definitely
this
not
weekend.
a joke around.
Well, the Cowboys are coming off a win against the Panthers, which was a really hard-fought win. They hung on for dear life there. They get Ruben Cotter back. I think he was missing from that game. And South had 3 hamstring injuries last week, and all 3 of those players are out. While they get Alex Johnson back, Latrell Mitchell shifts into the halves. There's a few questions for me around how that's all going to look and how that's going to work out. So just based on a little bit more stability, I've gone the Cowboys. Like, they're riding high. They're 2 in a row. They'll be 3 in a row if they win this one. I think they can get the job done.
I want South to win so Bud Sullivan has a good game so we don't have to take him
Well, he
back
said
next
today
year.
he wants to stay,
Yeah,
apparently.
good. Does he?
Yeah, he's come out and
Might not be up to him, though.
how awkward if he does have to come back now.
We could say 500 grand. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Parramatta and Raiders, which is up in Darwin. We've all gone Raiders, even though the Eels got their first win last week. What's their record like in Darwin?
Poor.
I know
Terrible.
they smashed last year, whoever they played up there. That was actually the
Dolphins.
beginning of their rot.
Dolphins.
Yeah, that was the beginning of their rot last year, wasn't it? And they never came back from it. And they've lost Zach Lomax, who kindly broke his foot in the process of kicking the winning field goal last week against his old team, which is kind of funny. He's out for 6 weeks. Yeah, I've gone Canberra. They're playing well.
In defense of the Eels and their Darwin record, most of their Darwin opponents have been Brisbane or Queensland teams. Like, they've played the Cowboys there, they've played the Broncos there, they've played the Dolphins there.
Do you think that makes much of a difference? Is that
I think it does, because it's a little bit warmer up in Brisbane. Obviously a little bit less travel for the Brisbane teams. So
Well, it should
is it that
advantage them,
different?
it should advantage of playing Canberra. Canberra's in the cold area.
Well, that's what I was saying. But is it an advantage? Is it really that much of an advantage?
I mean,
The flight difference is only be
it's
5 minutes.
it seems to be the main bugbear of the para fans all over the socials, and that's what I'm saying there, which is why they're happy that this is their final.
Fans, I believe, biggest whingers in the NRL. But anyway,
Well, this is their final game out there. Their partnership with the Northern Territory ends this season. So yeah, this is the final game at Darwin for probably the foreseeable future.
which is a shame because CU in the NT is perfect for the Parramatta.
Perfect branding.
Melbourne and
The Wars.
Warriors, we've all gone Storm. I mean, it's hard to pick against Storm in Melbourne,
especially in Melbourne. Although New Zealand sort of always give them a tough game.
Yeah,
but
it's a bit of a bogey.
Coming off a bye.
if you guys remember, last year was the incredible Xavier Coates looking like a coat hanger diving in the corner. They scored 2 tries in the last 3 or 4 minutes and won the game right on the hooter. So they do have a tough time, but Melbourne are looking really good.
In saying that, though, Melbourne have not lost to the Warriors in, I think it's something like 26 appearances. I think the last time the Warriors beat them was 2014.
Okay.
They've always, well, for a long time, a long part of that, they were meeting in Melbourne on Anzac Day, the Anzac Day night game. The Warriors copped a lot of thrashings in that particular time slot, which I think is one of the main reasons why the Warriors wanted to start taking an Anzac game or an Anzac Day game home, which they did last year. And again, they will be doing that this year. So I mean, yeah, I'm going the Storm as well. I think the streak for the Warriors extends yet another game.
Righto, moving on to lower grades. The Magpies, I believe they were leading early on and ended up getting 52 points put on them by the Manly Sea Eagles before.
Were we going to talk about the reasons why we've all tipped the Tigers, or?
Oh, I already mentioned we all tipped the Tigers.
I don't know. Why did you tip the Tigers?
I genuinely think this is a game that we can and should win. Obviously, I can never have confidence tipping the Tigers, but I genuinely think, and there's one footy app or tipping app where I have to tip a margin for every game, and I genuinely think I'm going to go in the 13 pluses for this one, just because I genuinely think like this is an opportunity for us to make a bit of a statement. Yes, while the Knights are very tough to beat at home, until the last few years, we've actually had a pretty good record up at Newcastle. I can remember off the top of my head wins up there in 2019, 2018. I was there for 2019 as well. I think that was Robbie's 300th.
It was.
Great game. But yeah, I think, I said before, I think if we can really look to target a lot of these inexperienced guys in this Knights team, target their bench when they come on, because I'm a little bit concerned. I think, like I said before, it's a pretty light bench. If we can roll through the middle of them, we should find a lot of joy. Could score tries all over the park, and I'm genuinely looking forward to watching this game. While I won't be here at the Orange Grove, I think it's going to be a really fun game to watch.
Yeah, I mentioned Jarome Luai already, Josh, but one big thing that people might not be taking much note of is Jack Bird back on the bench. Just gives us a lot more punch up the middle as well. I love the impact he gives us. I don't like the idea of Jack Bird having to play 80 minutes. I think he's been doing a fantastic job from coming off the bench, and I'm expecting to win this week, but provided that the refs and injuries and all that's quite even and nothing crazy happens. There's no reason why we shouldn't win.
We're into $2.22. I got on us at $2.67 earlier in the week.
Price.
$2.22 for the West Tigers to win on the weekend. Now
you can go to lower grades.
I'll go to lower grades. Yeah, the Maggies got done in Cup 52-26. Defense obviously optional in that game. They're playing against the Knights before the first grade again.
And if anyone can throw a comment in, I'm reliably told that a lot like the game against New Zealand when we were at Campbelltown a few weeks ago, we were in the game until young Heath Mason, I should say, dropped a bomb, and then the carnage came after that. And that was pretty much what happened the other week at Campbelltown.
It wasn't broadcasted this game.
So hopefully he sorts out his issues under the high ball, because he's a very talented player, but he's got to get that rectified.
Harold Matts and SG Ball, they played their last games. All four of the boys' teams did not make the finals this year. So Harold Matts Tigers lost 32-10 to the Steelers. I believe they finished 9th. I think they were the highest finishing side. The Magpies finished the season with a win, but didn't make the top 8 either, 26-20. SG Ball, Balmain got towed up by the Steelers 54-6. Magpies lost 48-30 in SG Ball. But carrying the flag for the West Tigers in the finals will be the girls. So Tasha Gale and Lisa Fiaola girls both play in finals next weekend. Tasha Gale girls beat the Sharkies 16-14 last week. Lisa Fiaola girls lost 18-14, but they'll both play at Leichhardt back-to-back in finals games. As I think Tasha Gale, they made the top 4. This is the third, second v third, I think.
Yes, it is. So they've after the last few seasons, the lower grades have all had like a 5 or 6 team final series, but they have gone to the full 8 teams and the same format as the first grade NRL. So it's really good to see that they've increased the finals teams. So yeah, this is second versus third. Loser gets a second chance, and winner gets a week off, and one win away from a grand final. So good luck to our Tasha Gale girls and the Lisa Fiaola girls. They finished 5th and are hosting the 8th place Raiders.
Well, they're both hosting. They're both playing at Leichhardt, which is handy.
Josh, just a quick apology to Scott Davidson. I accidentally said Shane's, but 5-letter name starting with S, that's close enough for someone with half filled with dementia. So apologies, Scott. It won't happen again.
I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, Statsman, what have you got for us this week?
So this week, so there was a bit of chat in the Discord after round 3 about our defense and how it was shaping up, and I decided to, after round 5 and then again after Magic round, but I might change that to round 10. But I wanted to have a look to see how our offense and defense were shaping up in these early stages of the season, and sort of have a bit of a comparison of that to last year. So far, based on average points scored, and this is the easiest way to do it because not every team has played the same number of games. Obviously, some teams have played 4, some teams have played 5. So offensively, we are equal 6th best, tied with the Raiders at 23.6 points per game, which is considerably better than what we were at this stage last year, as well as at the end of last year. Best attacking team at the moment is the Storm, who are scoring 35.5 points per game from their 4 games. So they are absolutely blitzing it. But in saying that, they've had 2 really high scoring games against Parramatta in round 1, where I think, did they hit 60? They might have hit 60 or just barely missed out. And high 40s again against Manly just this weekend. So they're killing it. Defensively, obviously conceding 46 against the Broncos really hurt us. It dropped us from, I think we were probably like 3rd or 4th, maybe down to 10th. So at the moment, we are conceding 21.2 points per game. The best defensive team is the Bulldogs, who are conceding 11.6 points per game. So that's not even 2 converted tries. They are absolutely killing it. There's got to be some work done there to try and fix up, or to try and like crack them. But I wanted to mention as well, I said in the Discord, so if we, let's say we conceded 26 against the Broncos, this is how tight it is. That 20 less points that we conceded would have made us instead the 3rd best defensive team. So at this early stage of the game, that's quite a very slim, or it's early stage of the season, that's a very slim difference between basically the 3rd best and us at the 10th best.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson, for those stats. Patreon.com/WestsLife. If you want to support the show, shouts to all of our legends that do support the show each and every week. As Rob's mentioned, lots going on in the Discord.
Even if I get your names wrong.
Yeah, we'll get your name. There's so many now, hard to keep up. But thank you all to you legends up on the screen right now. Look for your name amongst there. It's probably a bit hard to read. Probably need a bit better text than that. But thank you. And thank you to our Benji Marshall tier legends, Will Sinclair, Shane Kay, Riff, aka Robert Rosenberg, Rob Aaron, Chris Cowell, and Gussie Harris. I haven't seen Gussie. We haven't seen Gussie for a while. We saw him round 1, didn't we?
Yeah.
Campbelltown.
And thanks for Brandon for showing up tonight.
Brandon, our
Audience of 1.
Noons kind of asked what you were drinking tonight. What are you drinking? Drinking Coke. He's on the Coke, Connor. A cola, Coca-Cola. Righto, we're gonna after this record our Patreon questions. I think they've loaded up the Discord with plenty of questions, so we're gonna do a little bonus ep for them. For everyone else, join us Sunday afternoon. Plenty of us on Sunday, so we'll go live Sunday afternoon from the Orange Grove Hotel to act like absolute idiots watching the Tigers play the Knights, and then Sunday night go from idiots to absolute genius in Adele, joining Rob for his breakdown of that game, and then back Wednesday at the Orange Grove to break that game down and look forward to Easter week. We'll have to wear some bunny ears or something, some Easter eggs for next week. But thank you to everyone who joined us live tonight. Thank you. Please like and subscribe. Help us with the algorithm, guys. Share, tell your mates. To check out the show. Like I said, we've cracked the 1,500 mark on the YouTube subs this week, which is pretty awesome considering we've only had it for a couple of seasons. So thank you to everyone supporting us there and on all the audio pipes as well. So we love you all. And until we'll see the Patreon people, we'll record our Patreon special now, but for everyone else, time to say goodnight to Big Dog and
Go the West Tigers.
Go the West Tigers.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the West Tigers Life podcast. You can join us every Wednesday night live at 8:30 p.m. from the Orange Grove Hotel. A big thank you to Orange Grove Hotel for their support, as well as iChoice Home Loans. If you want to hear more from the West Tigers Life podcast, go to westtigers.com.au. That'll be our link tree, and you'll find links to all our social media, and you can sign up at our Patreon at patreon.com/WestLife. Join us next time on West Tigers Life.